As the disintegration of Jubilee hangs above the heads of its followers like the proverbial sword of Damocles, it helps to remind them about the relationship that founded the Jubilee lie. It was a relationship between Uhuru and Ruto, who are principal antagonists in 2007, now turned allies. Theirs was not a friendship. It was an alliance of convenience. They were not friends. They were comrades. The comradeship is over because the need for it has been neutralized. The only logical conclusion is the imminent and obvious exposure of the Jubilee lie. Welcome. This is Matters Arising. Let me give you a small background on the categories confidants, constituents, and comrades as proposed by TD Jakes. Outside politics, they may actually help you clarify your own relationships. I will then tie them to the end of Uhuru and Ruto relationship and the fate of Jubilee. TD Jakes tells us that confidants are people who are around you because they are into you. They buy into you as a person and therefore are willing to be by your side whether you are up or down, in victory or defeated, right or wrong. You can easily see why Uhuru and Ruto cannot be confidants. As people, they are as different as night and day, and I doubt they would find anything to admire in each other. Constituents, on the other hand, as TD Jakes says, are those who are around you because they are for what you are for. They are people pursuing the same destination that you are pursuing and going the same place you are going, and are therefore traveling the same path you are traveling. Jubilee has never had a defined destination in mind. They promise everything, deliver nothing or half measures, forget what they had promised or change what they had promised, then give you new promises and claim they are making new promises because the old ones that they had forgotten about have already been fulfilled. If a psychiatrist was to give a mental diagnosis for Jubilee, he would say that they suffer from dementia, schizophrenia, hallucinations, narcissism, and they are delusional all at the same time. It is hard to see how one can form a destination-based relationship with Jubilee. If Jubilee was a spouse, one would have three options: divorce, murder, or madness. And I believe as a nation, we have chosen the last one. The third category is what TD Jakes calls comrades. These are those who are around you because they are against what you are against. They are those who are around you because you share the same enemy. They are only with you to see the greater enemy fall. As per this definition, Uhuru and Ruto were comrades, not friends. In 2013, they gravitated around each other because both had a common enemy called Fatou Bensouda of the International Criminal Court at The Hague. They came together to fight a common enemy, and they had convinced their people that the only way to do this was to acquire state power. They are both Kanu men, and if there is anything they learned from their political godfather, it is how one can use state power to entrench impunity. In the formation of Jubilee later in 2016, Ruto would famously utter the words, "Sisi sio chama tu, Sisi ni serikali bwana. For the purpose of fighting their indictment at the ICC, Uhuru and Ruto needed to become serikali. They needed to be comrades. They acted it out so well that our usually shallow and equally directionless media started talking about a bromance, whatever that means. Comrade ties can seem very, very deep. It has nothing to do with chemistry or a friendship between the comrades. It has everything to do with the might and resolve of the enemy that brings them together. The stronger the enemy, the deeper the comradeship. Therefore, the seeming friendship between Uhuru and Ruto had nothing to do with love for each other or commitment to a shared national vision. It had nothing to do with a shared destination because they had none. And Jubilee was nothing but smoke screens to make the whole charade look real. Two things should therefore not surprise a careful observer who has not been caught up in the media-generated euphoria about the Jubilee lie. One, I do not understand why anyone decries the fact that Jubilee has done nothing of significance in their stay in power. Ruto comradeship was not founded to do anything of significance for you. It was founded to do something of significance for themselves. And on this score, they have been spectacularly successful. They acquired state power and used it to marshal half the world against the ICC with mind-boggling success. This would have been impossible without either state power or a government in power that was sympathetic to them. This was the source of their cry that if Raila and their then opponents in CORD were elected, they would spend the rest of their lives rotting in a foreign jail. In this sense, their political opponents in CORD were again a common enemy, or from the ICC threat. In a word, Ruto comradeship was ignited by the ICC and sealed by Raila Odinga and CORD. The second matter that should not surprise anyone is the imminent fate of Jubilee. If the comradeship that gave rise to Jubilee was cemented by the rise of Bensouda, the ICC and the threat of a Raila presidency, then, like they say in mathematics, the opposite is also true. The fall of Bensouda and the ICC and the consequent neutralization of the threat of a Raila presidency means the floundering and eventual disintegration of Jubilee. It is all but guaranteed. The disintegration started the day the cases against the comrades were successfully scuttled through state power. Practically, the comradeship was over. A Raila presidency, though undesirable for the duo, was not a do or die situation like it had been in 2013. Once Jubilee was back in power in 2017, the threat of Raila to the duo had practically evaporated and the stage was set for the handshake. That was the deal that sealed the fate of Jubilee. The comradeship had been successful, but paradoxically, with all the factors that created the comradeship neutralized, it has turned on itself. To paraphrase Chinua Achebe, success has put a knife on the things that held Jubilee together. Things fall apart. The only thing that can save Jubilee is another common enemy. To the extent one is not forthcoming, the lie called Jubilee is over. Without common enemies, the Uhuru comradeship is for all intents and purposes dead. It has served its purpose for the comrades. It is time to shake hands, pun intended, and chart a different path. Watch this space as the paths will emerge as we approach the 2022 elections. Confidants, constituents, and comrades. Relationships that are forged by different intents and purposes. Forged out of common enemies in ICC and in CORD, the Uhuru comradeship finds itself without enemies and without a reason to exist. Some complain that the comradeship did nothing for the country. It was never formed to do anything for the country in the first place. It was formed to do something for the comrades. Others decry the possibility of the end of Jubilee. These ones have come late to the party. Jubilee ended the day the cases that brought the comrades together at the ICC were scuttled, and its disintegration was sealed by the recent handshake. They are now cohabiting, waiting for official divorce as the next elections approach. The reason they came together and became serikali is no longer viable. If you had been carried along by the lie, it is time to wake up and smell the coffee. Don't cry for Jubilee. Uhuru and Ruto were comrades. They were not friends. For Matters Arising, I am Professor Wainaina.